I'm Hewlett Moran Hendricks. The birth date, April the 2nd, 1925. One time I went on a call. This fella called that morning and had a cow he wanted to look at. He worked in the Callaway Mill in Manchester. That's when the mills were still in Manchester. That's when I started pretty early too. And he said, I won't be at home, but my wife will be there and she'll show the cow. Well, back then, people didn't have chutes for cows and head gates for cows. We had to lasso them. A fellow by the name of Zach Bingham was with me that day. He stayed around the barn a lot, the mule horse barn. He was with me. It was a place over in the cove. I told Zach after we got out of the cars and everything, I looked at the cow, and sure enough, we didn't have a good place to catch her. So I said, Zach, we got to try to lasso that cow and before we can do anything. So I made about 2 throws and finally, on the second round, I think it was, I got that rope around her neck and she exploded. I mean, exploded. And I said, Zach, grab that rope. It was about a 20-foot rope, or maybe a 30-foot rope, a long rope anyway. I says, just hold to it now. You know, however we can get a little closer on, I want to put a halter on her after we stop her. All right, but she was still running now. He had a hold to the rope. There was an outhouse right in the pen with the cow. I didn't have an indoor toilet at all, evidently. The cow got to running, and on the first round, it went around the outhouse, and Zach held to the rope. And then she made the second round. I said, Zach, there's something shaking there, and turn that rope loose. About that time, that lady hollered something. She said, I'm in here, and that's what happened. But nobody was hurt. But it just almost turned that outhouse over. I'm telling you, it was shaking. Well, he had a couple of cows we were looking at that day, and Will Copeland was with me. He stayed with me for, I expect, 30 years, or 35 years maybe, more. He was with me that day, and I was inside about through, and Mr. Jewett was in there. And Will was out there. The pecan trees had just about shedded, and a lot of pecans on the ground. And I told Will, I said, get you a few of those pecans. I don't think they'll have anything they don't care anything about picking them up. About that time, Mr. Jewett Bond's wife came out, and she got to hollering it. Say, you get away from them pecans, get away. And Mr. Jewett Bond heard her, and he went out there and blessed her out right quick. Blessed old Will out. Mr. Jewett thought a lot of Will himself, you might say. With a cow on it, he had to hold us, do something to him. Then there's a Hudson barn. It had kind of and he kept that barn just as clean as this floor right here. He was a man that didn't like anything on his floor hardly, and a good man with it, good Christian man. He called me one Sunday afternoon, and he said, I got a cow here that keeps kicking at the stomach. Okay, I said, I'll be right on out there at his house. I said, I feel like I know what it is, but I'm going to I'll catch you, and I'm going to do a deal in the rear end to see if I'm right. I could feel what the trouble was. One gut had overlooped another one, and it couldn't move anything. That's what she was trying to move when she was kicking at herself. I told Victor, I says, we got to lay her down there and shave her good, and I got in there, and I mean, it was a ward of them. And gangrene had already just about set up, no blood supply to them. So we pulled all of that out. We had to use a certain kind of clamp to clamp off both ends of the GI tract. We cut it off about, Victor said he measured it, said it was 18 inches long, but I figured about 15 inches long. It took a while to get those ends back together. They had to make several rounds to be sure that it wasn't going to be leaking. Putting it back together was another thing. And all the children there and the folks there too was looking at it, wanted to know what was going on. We put everything back together. Before I left, she had a bowel movement when she got back up. From then on, she did all right. I talked to his brother here not too long ago, and she said that cow had 4 calves after then. Close to 75 dairies, over 7 counties. That included a lot of driving, day and night, you might say. I just had to take on some socks when I go to bed, knowing I had to get up quick, and I did that all hundreds of times, but I enjoyed it all. Back in the early days, penicillin had just arrived, and we started using that in mastitis on cattle. Bob Blaylock, he called one day at the clinic and said he had a cow that I needed to check on, and trying to birth a calf, and he had been in the cow, but it didn't feel just right. He wanted me to come up there and check it. Well, I went on up there and I had to go out there, and they had a good pen to hold her. That was in the bottom, down there close to the creek, you might say. I got a glove and went in the cow, and I said, Bob, I feel something that's not right in this cow. I got to go back in and see what's going on before I get hold of the calf. I went in, and what did I find when I got out? Bob's wedding ring. He left in the cow when he went in that first time. Luckily, I got it out all right without any problem. The veterinary medicine was a good trade. I enjoyed every bit of it. It was hard a lot of times and dangerous, but I enjoyed every bit of it. Day and night, for 65 years. I enjoyed working with animals, and a good wife here to help me. Because I'm here today. I wouldn't be here today. It wasn't for Beverly, to tell you the truth. April the 2nd, I'll be 98.